What if I told you you could spend 4 days in Ferrari heaven making new girlfriends and not lifting a single finger to make any of the plans? Because that's what my experience was like with Off to the Races. Off to the Races is a female-focused Formula One travel company, and I was invited on their Ferrari and food tour, which was made to take place in between the Zandvoort and Monza doubleheader. We spent 4 days in Motor Valley in Italy, and when I tell you Alexandra, the founder and host of all of these tours, thinks of quite literally everything, I mean literally everything. We spent a full day in Maranello with private tours the entire way through the Ferrari Museum and the Enzo Ferrari Museum, which are two separate things, which automatically surpasses your dream of just wanting to go to the Ferrari factory. And even just the private aspects of this tour were so far beyond the basics, because we even went places that aren't specifically on the tour and places that you absolutely are not allowed to take your phone. We went shopping in the Ferrari store next to the Ferrari factory, and private tours even went on to private dining when we ate at Cavallino. But one of the coolest parts of this itinerary was the fact that it wasn't just about cars, it was also about appreciating the area that all of this history when it comes to Formula One comes from. We had a chance to tour the Barilla pasta factory and also spend days with artisans that make things that you can only get in this area. We toured one of the only dairies that is allowed to make Parmigiano Reggiano. We even opened a wheel of cheese just for us, and I considered asking this man to marry me. We learned how to make our own pasta, we had real prosciutto, and all of this was shown to us by local people who actually grew up in this area. So many of the places that we visited were family-owned businesses. For example, the hotel that we stayed at was actually the owner's previous family home that he converted into a small hotel. And this was how I started every single morning of the trip. And one of the things about Formula One is that it's a global sport, but we don't always take time to remember the spaces that we're going to for these races and actually experience the culture and the history of them. This tour was such an incredible chance to do that, mixed together with the history of Ferrari in a way that any Formula One fan wants to see, and getting to do it with a group of girls that I had never met before we started, but became really good friends with by the end. I do think one of the hardest parts about being a Formula One fan is sometimes it can be a really solo experience, and getting to travel the world is great, but getting to travel the world with people who love this as much as you do is even better. And if that's an experience that you want to have, you should definitely consider doing so with Off to the Races. I have so much to share from this trip itself, and I'll do daily breakdowns of the itinerary, so be sure to follow along, and of course, make sure to check out the Off to the Races 2026 travel season.